Good morning, everybody. It's Jim Feist in Las Vegas and Hank Goldberg also in Las Vegas. Good morning, Hank.
How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing good. Kind of a choppy weekend in baseball for me. A good Saturday and not so good Sunday, but it was a good week. So that's how we're going to measure this week also. We started off with a winner in the first NFL game, and we got a bunch of games this week. This is the first full week on the NFL preseason, and I know you and I have some opinions, both online and offline as well. So what's going on with you?
Yeah, the Whitney was ruined by terrible weather. They had a lot of rain at Saratoga, and they delayed the start of the Whitney by over an hour.
Whoa. And
the favorite won. Diversify went out and just got loose, and the race was over right away. And the horse that I liked, although I used Diversify in my three-way exacta box, but the horse that I liked didn't break all that well and couldn't make up ground in that sloppy track. The race was ruined. I did have a nice one of the stakes races that I gave out. I had a nice 9-1 shot that won, and I gave out a 4-1 shot that won the stakes race at Del Mar, so it wasn't a total loss for our followers.
That's good.
Off the racing, the Travers will be the next race, and they'll have a decent card. Diversify has, they've said that they're not going to run the horse in the Breeders' Cup. So that's a loss for that race because that's one of the good older horses. I don't know what they're going to do with that horse now, but it's kind of odd that they've already made that statement. The Breeders' Cup people can't be too happy about that because right now the Diversify with 3 straight wins look like the strength of the older horses.
Oh. Why do they make decisions like that? Because of injuries or?
No, the horse is fine. But he's kind of a one-run horse. You know, he goes for speed. And he has never run well at Churchill Downs. And that's where the Breeders' Cup is this year, so they may just be ducking it.
All right. Anything going on in baseball that's turned your head?
You know, there's a lot of things in baseball that I've noticed, Jim, and I know you have too. And that is the 5-5 division, the National League West. Those teams knocking each other off, and that's a 4-team race right now. Arizona, the Dodgers, Colorado, and San Francisco. The National League, Chicago right now is playing pretty decent ball, and Milwaukee is chasing them, and the Washington is coming around, and I tell you, the National League East is going to be a good race coming down because Washington is now above 500 finally, and Atlanta's hanging in, and Philadelphia, and Arietta's pitching for them today. Philadelphia is that's a great race, the National League East. It's like what the East is going to be in the NFL. And over in the American League, I mean, the Yankees, I don't think they're going to recover from this. I mean, the strength of their team is supposed to be their pitching staff is supposed to be their bullpen. They didn't hit very well in this series. Boston's pitching really shut them down. The Red Sox is just, going to run away with that division, I think now. And, Cleveland's running away with their division. And Oakland has the best record of any team in baseball for the last couple of months. And they're making a race of it. Houston is having a rough road trip. And so you've got a nice race in the West. The 2 Western divisions in baseball are where and the East and the National League are where the 3 races are.
Yeah, that's right. The Yankees.
I'll tell you, Oakland may win that West. Their pitching staff, they got a bunch of unknown pitchers there who are pitching very well.
Yeah, they sure do.
Bean has done it again. He put together a club of, pitchers you never heard of, and I don't know where he found them, but he found them.
Yeah, it's an amazing formula that has worked before, and it's working again. The Yankees, I don't know if it's a likely story or not, but How about the Yankees' possibility of missing the playoffs totally?
Well, they still have a couple of guys who are on the injured list, and they have made some moves, to try to strengthen their pitching staff. Remember their top, one of their two top run delivery guys is still on the bench. He'll be back for the stretch run, and that'll make a difference. And their two of their top run producers are hurt right now, and that's killing them.
Well, there's no question. I mean, you take Sanchez and Judge out of the lineup, that's a monster loss. And I was surprised in the first several games in that series that the Yankees were actually favored against a team that has the best record in baseball, playing at home. That was an amazing spot. Yesterday, it looked like maybe that would be the Yankees' game to win, especially with Price not always pitching all that well against the Yankees, but he pitched great. They blew the game.
Yep.
They blew the game. The bullpen, the Boston, they blew it, got the Yankees ahead, and then, of course, the Yankees blew it back. So, I mean, that's a 4-game sweep against your biggest rival, now 9.5 out. I think the Yankees have to focus on making the playoffs as a wild card. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting at home.
That was a critical loss last night for them. That was a game they had to have. At least they could have left there, with some degree of confidence that they could, that they could win a game against the Red Sox up there, and instead that was a terrible defeat for them. With their bullpen blowing the game.
Yeah, the strength of their team is supposed to be that bullpen, because Lord knows it's their starting pitching. Even though Tanaka pitched very well yesterday,
yeah. And by the way, they came. Going into late innings, they had really shut down their best hitter.
That's right. That's right. Well, we got a lot of good races in baseball. It's exciting. And in the football, we got a full card on Thursday. Big weekend. This is our first big weekend of, the preseason football. A lot of these camps, some injuries out there, unfortunately, but it happens every year. And then it comes down to the backups. So this weekend, it's going to be about coaching and what players they're going to play longer and what their intentions are and how important it is for these coaches to win and other guys just don't give a damn. So that is...
some coaches have pretty good records in these opening preseason games.
Oh, sure they do.
And we'll give that out, by the way, for those of our followers. On Wednesday, I'm going to give it out on our service. The ones who like to win these early games, I'm not going to give it out here. But there are some coaches who like to win early. And some coaches who are new want to make an impression. But I think the biggest news this week is that Luck is going to start, and he's going to play a little bit more than a quarter, and depending on how many drives. If there's a couple of 3 and outs, he'll play a little more than a quarter. But they want to see what he can do, and they're so confident right now. The Colts are that Luck is back, that they're shopping his backup quarterback and trying to get something for him.
Well, Brissett, you're talking about Brissett. Brissett is capable of being a starter in the league, in my opinion. He's a little raw here and there, a little bit of training and stuff, but he is capable, and they might get some quality for him.
Well, I think, they have an offensive-minded coach who knows what he's doing, I think. And he likes what he sees and what Luck has shown. So, they're confident that he's ready to go. And, but they want to get him activity this preseason. They want to get him timing on. They want him ready for the beginning of the season. And they're not going to get him ready by not playing him in the preseason games. So I think the plan is let him get, a quarter a game or a little more in the first 2 games, third game being a dress rehearsal, and then rest them in the fourth preseason game. I think that's what the plot would be for him.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. You talk about. I find this interesting. This story interesting. I don't know how you feel about it. The Minnesota Vikings last year had 3 quarterbacks. They had Case Keenum, Bradford, and Bridgewater. Case Keenum, led them to the playoffs. Now maybe he's reached his glass ceiling, et cetera, but they got rid of all those quarterbacks to bring in Cousins. Cousins, of course, has never won a playoff game, but they're putting a lot of stock in him. Do you feel that was too big of a gamble for the Vikings to do that?
Maybe. Although their front office has done a pretty good job. They've got the running back healthy now. By the way, Keenum has looked very good for Dallas in their drills so far, or for Denver rather. And I'll tell you something. Washington is very happy with Smith.
Well, they should be. Where has Smith played in the NFL that he hasn't done well?
That's right.
I mean, this is a guy that's won 70% of his games. And I remember when he was out with San Francisco, they were extremely good, and then Harbaugh fell in love with Kaepernick, and they dumped Smith, which I thought was one of the dumbest things I ever saw, and it's proved out to be.
Kansas City's putting a lot of stock in their second-year players.
How's he looked so far?
Very good. But, it's practice.
Well, he supposedly has a big arm. Do they have the receivers to get in position? Do they have the offensive line to hold for him?
They do. They do have good receivers. I'll tell you what's interesting is they were talking about receivers. That there are a lot of teams that have a lot of confidence in the receivers that they have. So we'll see if they can come through. But there are some coaches who are raving about the receivers that they have.
Well, it's going to be an interesting football season. We hope that it's clear of politics, etc. The new rules, the helmet rules, and all that other stuff. Have you done any analysis on that?
Well, I watched the first game, and they're going to be calling everything. And maybe they're going to call some that you think they are overdoing it. But they're determined that they're going to enforce it. I've been keeping an eye. I talked to a friend of mine in Columbus last night who's wired into the Ohio State situation, and they're really having all kinds of demonstrations on campus, and a lot of people are organizing behind the coach to make sure that he gets that they keep him. And I had a vision last night that if they did let him go, and it looks like they're going to keep him, but if they did let him go, that Vrabel would leave his pro job and become the coach at Ohio State.
Really? Wow.
Well, he's very loyal to Ohio State. He had a radio talk show in Columbus when he was right after he was out of football, and he's a very prominent alumnus there. They come after him. If that happens, and and Urban was released, I'll bet you they would come after Vrabel after 1 year. That's just looking ahead.
Very interesting. Anything else you want to cover while we're online?
No, I think that's about it right now. We'll look ahead to the preseason games on Wednesday a little bit. But it'll be interesting to see how these some of the new coaches will want to make an impression. Vrabel would probably be one of them. They're having a very good camp, Tennessee. Houston, how they intend to get ready. I think, I'm curious to see how Luck looks in his first game. San Francisco, there's a lot of pressure on them right now. And the Rams, I think, are going to be very good. Seattle's got some problems. They're going to lose a bunch of players. They got some signing issues. And I want to see what the Giants do in preseason.
Yeah,
And by the way, the Jets got their rookie quarterback in.
well, it's about time. That team could develop. I mean, they played respectable football last year. They seem to have a good coach.
I'll tell you the team that's very excited about their receivers is the Dolphins. They've got a very good receiving core, and they've got a tight end who, while he's not a great blocker, they say he's making incredible catches all over the field. They're a high draft pick.
Really?
Yeah, keep an eye on that. They've got that. They're very excited. Gates, who's an offensive-minded coach, is very excited about this, about adding a tight end to their offense. And they've got, they've got a rookie, or they've got the second-year running back combined with the running back they got from the Colts, who they signed as a free agent. They think their offense is going to be improved. Defensively, it could be another story.
Well, every team comes into the new season with delusions of grandeur. Very few of them actually pan out. But there's always some.
We'll see if their quarterback can live up to it. That's the problem.
Right. There's always somebody. There's always somebody that jumps out in front and has a good year that nobody expected. And who's that going to be? That's hard to tell. But that's what
Yep.
That's why they put up over and unders on win totals, and we were going to do that actually. We never did. But we should probably pencil that in for Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay, Hank. Thank you very much. Hank's plays and mine are available at jimfeist.com. Hank comes up with horses on the weekend mostly, but we got baseball and now we have preseason football. So it's an exciting time. jimfeist.com for everything you need if you want to fill your pockets. Thank you, Hank. I appreciate it.
All right, Sam. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you, Hank.